So I am headed out to the hotel to drop off cookies. It's so many cookies. So some of them are actually for the night shift because she probably won't get them. Like if I left them all out. So I'm like bringing them over to, I'm doing like a different bag basically for the night shift and placing them, and I will be placing them on a shelf. So yeah, that way she can enjoy something. And I'm glad I left on good terms with the manager, and then I thought in advance of like whether or not I would be able to work at a hotel. So yeah. Yeah. I'm like, yay! I'm finally wearing my off-shoulder top because I'm not at work. So yeah, and I won't be wearing this to school either because I'm like, do I really want to wear that like at school, or this is not appropriate for a job unless I'm working at a bar or a club, because yeah, that's like the two main places it might be appropriate for, or maybe a strip club. I'm not sure where else. Bar, club, home. If you're working at home. Here we go. That works. I remember one of my old roommates, she's like, even though I'm working from home, she doesn't have to. She's like, always dress. She liked to dress professionally because it made her feel as though she took her job more seriously. Which I thought was interesting, like an interesting concept. And she made really good money, honestly. So I guess if you're good in sales, you can do it. She did mention that basically in order to do good in sales, people have to like you. And it's like, okay. So yeah. I did also tell my roommate, I was like, thank you for letting me like watch Disney, because basically I watched The Acolyte, and I'm like, I get to talk to you about The Acolyte. Oh, so speaking of Acolyte, so I mentioned in previous, you may have seen it, I don't know. I feel like you probably have, but the twist, plot spoiler for anyone who has not, you know, because I know people like to watch these videos. But also, if you personally have not seen The Acolyte, this is a plot spoiler, by the way. Basically, what it is that it turns out that the whole thing was just purely an action and reaction to what was going on, which happens quite a bit, especially in the spur of the moment. So what ended up happening was... But yeah, I told my roommate that, like, thank you, because I get to talk to my bestie about it. But yeah, so what happened was in The Acolyte, what was it? So I was like, oh, you know, the twin, or like the aggravating? What in the world? Not the aggravating, the twin that has a temper, there we go, that was trained by the Sith. She basically burned the place down. Well, what ended up happening, it's a little bit more complicated than that. She did burn the place down. She ended up throwing, whenever a book caught on fire, she threw the book down up against the panel, and the panel short-circuited so that the more calm twin went ahead, and what ended up happening? The calm twin was locked inside the room, so she couldn't escape. Well, then later on, let's see, so she was that, and then the we'll call them Twin A and Twin B just to make it easier. So Twin A was trained by the Sith, and Twin B ended up being trained by the Jedi. So rush hour traffic, oh boy. So Twin A what ends up happening with Twin A? Twin A yay, my fingers. Kind of, sort of. Twin A is raised by Sith. Twin B is raised by a Jedi. So Twin A goes ahead, starts the fire. She runs over to her mom, and turns out that her and the sister are basically it was almost like cloning, I think. And it was basically by two night witches, or they're called witches, but basically it's females who have control over the Force. It's or not control over the Force. They're able to do different things with the Force, like basically dissipate. So and then also mind control someone else. So I was like, this is a very fascinating thing, because you don't see the Jedi do this. You see the Jedi in episode 6, 7, 8. I think in episode 8, where basically they connect with each other via their mind, which honestly I don't know how I feel about that, because in episodes 1 through 6 you don't see that. Instead you see people, instead of using the Force, they go ahead and talk to each other like using comms. And so I'm like, okay, so something's really off about that. Like, that doesn't quite make sense. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. So, but anyways, aside from the thing where it's like that, okay, I think you're taking but, so anyways, they are being trained by witches, and then one does the Ascension, and the other one is like, no, I don't want to do this Ascension, I actually want to become a Jedi. So, what was it? The Twin A tells everybody, I started a fire, and basically Twin B is trapped in her like room, and so the mom, she goes ahead and like floats away almost, or dissipates. The Jedi, because he has no idea what's going on, he's like, oh my goodness, she's going to like attack or whatever, he goes ahead and takes out his lightsaber and stabs her. And it's like, what? Like, she showed no aggression. Like, why is she doing that? Like, that, like, he should not have done that. He should, like, I get it where you're just like, where your mind is like, I'm afraid that the kids are not safe, but like, these people, like, aside from being like, I want to keep like these kids away from their, like, the constant idea of like fear or whatever, like, he should have addressed that earlier, like a lot earlier, like, you know, I feel for the kids' safety. And then the lady Jedi, she should have like basically grabbed control of the situation, been like, listen, you need to stay at the ship, or I don't know, send them home. Like, especially the Padawan, like, he was too overcome by fear and such. And it's like, okay, first this, and then they go ahead and try a cover up, and it's like, okay, this is not, like, you guys are not handling it well at all. And then, like, at the same time, the cover up might have been a good thing, maybe. Because then it would have exposed like everything else, where it's like, then it would have exposed everything else where it's like not possible. So yeah, exposed like other things that Jedi have done. But that part I'm not quite sure how I feel about, like whether the cover-up was a good thing or a bad thing. But also I thought it was interesting where it's like one of the few times in which the other Jedi are like, yes, I am going to listen to the female Jedi, like the head Jedi, which honestly I think they should have done even before that, because like if they had listened to her, things would have happened a lot smoothly. They would not have had to worry about anything. Especially since the Jedi Council was like, no, you cannot train this girl. And then they would have followed through like, okay, you know what? We're going to respect that. And especially since the female Jedi was like, no, we can't train her. We should have never made contact, basically. And she would have never been trained as a Jedi. Which, like, because she was trained as a Jedi, she still failed. And I think it's very interesting where it's possible for you to fail the Jedi training. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I can see that being very realistic, because like it happens in everyday life where people, they go through tests, they're like training, and then they fail. Like you could go, for example, with somebody lost a tire. Oh my goodness, like literally lost a tire. Thankfully a cop is behind them, I guess, to kind of watch them, make sure people don't hit them, so that's good, really. So yeah, overall, some of it I was like, okay, this makes realistic sense. Honestly though, I had never heard of anyone failing the Jedi test, but at the same time you do have some people who they were Jedi and they end up leaving the Jedi Order. So like, for example, the guy who's a Sith. And I thought it was interesting where before, like, by episode 1, they're like, oh yeah, we're fully aware of, like, the existence of Sith. And then the Sith goes ahead and shows up. They're like, yeah, we know it's a Sith. And in the Acolyte, they're like, we have no idea what a Sith is. So I thought that was overall very interesting. So I'm wondering if just by all of that, it's like the Sith pretty much went out of existence for a while. And so they're like, oh, you know, the Sith are gone. We don't have to worry about them. And so they're pretty much erased from history. And then they come back. And they're like, oh, shoot. Like, the Sith, like, maybe a few archivists or maybe historians know about the Sith, or people who have been Jedi for, like, let's say, like, Master Yoda, for example. They're aware of the Sith. But at the same time, considering that Master Yoda was like over 900 years old when he died, and he was aware of the Sith, and in the series The Acolyte, you don't see him like at all. So I'm wondering if, like, from what I understand, there was the Republic, like the first 1,000 years, and then you have the New Republic, or I think it's called the New Republic. You have another republic that is also 1,000 years. So I'm wondering if it's during the First Republic, in which, like, Yoda's not there. Of course, he's not even born yet. And it's like maybe the beginning of things not being stable, or it's before Yoda started being on the High Council. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. So yeah. Oh, also I talked with was it, the the lady. And I was like, yeah, I thanked her for like letting me stay there. Also for Disney Plus, because I get to go ahead and like watch these like, was it movies? Like, what was it, Star Wars shows and such. Also thanked her. I think I thanked her for the opportunity for the job, and she's like, well, I wouldn't like count on it completely, something to that effect. I was like, what do you mean? My mind immediately went like, whoa. My mind immediately thought, are you saying your husband isn't going to like recommend me or whatever? So turns out no. What it is that she's like, well, I haven't heard anything. That's, what she said. But she's like, yeah, basically, I guess things aren't quite happening the way they wanted it to. So she's like, just go ahead and apply to other positions, to other places, which, phooey, to other places to see, that way you can be sure to get another job. So I'm like, crud. I might try Sam's Club, maybe. I haven't heard good things about the Sam's Club around here. Some Sam's Club, yes, but the Sam's Club around here, no. I may try, like, I can't do restaurants, which is, like, applying at a restaurant is super easy. Like, you're almost guaranteed a job. If you don't get a job at a restaurant, it means that you were, like, something happened, because restaurants are desperate, and then they'll even hire felons. Take that back, a lot of restaurants, I think. So, like, the restaurants, I remember working in fast food, and they're like, we'll even hire a felon. Like, as long as they have not, like, robbed a bank, or, like, they'll do a background check, and they're like, okay, do you have anything from the past 7 years? As long as it's nothing like, robbing a bank or anything, like, it's okay. It's like, oh, shoot. So, yeah, I'm like, oh, man, this sucks. So, I am going to see about, like, what other jobs I can work. Basically, what I'm going to do is probably pull up a map. I'm going to finish working on my resume that I have. Yeah, so I think it's almost completely done, pretty much. I'm gonna finish working on it, and then basically pull up a map and call different places that are not restaurants and be like, hey, are you hiring? And basically, like, apply like crazy. So, yeah. See what is possible, see what I can do. There's no one here. Wow. It's like 5:30. It feels weird. Like, no vehicles or anything. So, yeah. And then after this, I'm gonna go and get gas, and from there, I'm going to go get, gas, and then the library, see if I can, oh yeah, I need to go to one library that has, like, it's just down the road. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys, it's basically like crochet patterns, so I'm gonna get that for them. And so, yeah, there we go, feel better. Yeah, anyways, I will talk to you later. I hope that you have a great day. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. I have a loose string on my bag. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. And, yeah, I'll be able to respond, shortly. See ya. Talk to you later. Bye. And I need to figure out where those people stay that are that work here. I'll talk to you later.